Have you ever wondered what it would be like if Einstein, Steve Jobs, and your child's brain had a party? Welcome to the Neuroquirky Nexus, where we celebrate the extraordinary minds of our neurodiverse children. Welcome to you amazing parents and caregivers to this podcast. Here we are going to navigate the colorful world of neurodiversity, and we're going to explore holistic, out-of-the-box solutions for children and teens with ADHD, stress, anxiety, and other neuroquirks. Each week we'll dive into practical, brain-based techniques and quirky strategies to help your child thrive. I'm Laurie Bloyer, a former veteran teacher turned holistic neurogrowth, learning, and life success coach. As a parent of a neurodiverse child myself, I've spent the last 20 years researching, experimenting, and developing unconventional approaches to support these unique minds. I myself have ADHD diagnosed later in life, and thank goodness, now I understand some of my neuroquirks, and I am going to give you, from my years of teaching in the classroom, my son and myself, several tips, tricks, strategies to help you and your child thrive and create peace at home and joy in your life. So, are you ready? Let's get quirky. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Neuroquirky Nexus. As always, we are so happy to have you here and really hoping our helpful tips will come in handy. Try to say that 10 times fast. In this podcast, we explore the world of neurodiversity and give parents and educators the tools to help children thrive. Of course, I'm Laurie Bloyer, your host, a holistic neurogrowth learning and life success coach. And in today's episode, this is one that I'm excited about. It's one I've had on my list for a long time. It's called Inside the Mind of a Child with ADHD. You've seen the memes, you've seen maybe the TikToks. I don't know, I'm not on TikTok. The Instagram shorts, I know I have, about what it's like to live with ADHD, sometimes as an adult, but I just want to take you in as a child. What's it like for your child? What are they dealing with? So just for a minute, imagine you're sitting in a classroom. The teacher's talking. There's a fly buzzing by the window. A classmate is tapping their pencil, and your mind keeps jumping to the game you played last night. You really want to focus, but it's like trying to catch a butterfly with your bare hands. No matter how hard you try, it keeps flitting away. This is what life can feel like for a child with ADHD, for your child with ADHD. So in this episode, we're going to take a deep dive into how these amazing kids experience the world, why their behaviors are so often misunderstood, and how we can support them in a way that lets their strengths shine, and so that we can really focus on those strengths. Let's start with what it feels like to have ADHD. Think about a time when you were completely overwhelmed. Maybe you were trying to finish a project while someone kept interrupting you. That sense of chaos and frustration, that's the baseline for many kids with ADHD, except it's all the time. One of the most common experiences is sensory overload. Imagine this. You're in a room filled with TVs. Really go there with me, please. Each playing a different channel at full volume. One TV is showing a nature documentary, another is blasting a cartoon, and yet another is playing a loud action movie. You're told to focus on just one TV, but the others are so loud and flashy that it's almost impossible to tune them out. This is what it's like to process information with ADHD. everything is coming for your attention all at once. And it's not just external distractions. Inside your own mind, it's like a race car engine that won't stop revving. Thoughts speed by so quickly you barely have time to catch one before another zooms past. You might start thinking about your math homework, but suddenly your brain's wondering why penguins can't fly, or replaying a funny joke you heard last week. It's exhausting, like trying to herd cats inside your head. This constant mental noise makes even simple tasks feel monumental. Think about trying to pour a glass of water while walking on a tightrope. Every step requires so much focus and effort that by the time you get to the end, you're drained. This is how kids with ADHD feel when they're asked to sit still, follow instructions, complete a worksheet, over and over and over. How many times can you walk on that tightrope while trying to pour a glass of water? I hope you're getting this picture. For them, the world is overwhelming, a kaleidoscope of sensations, sounds, and thoughts all swirling together. It's not that they don't want to focus or behave. It's that their brains are wired to experience the world differently. For children with ADHD, the world can feel too loud, too bright, too much. Imagine trying to listen to a teacher while fluorescent lights hum above. A classmate whispers behind you, and your brain keeps telling you to look out the window. It's not that they're not trying, it's that their brain is wired to take in everything at once. Now let's talk about the racing thoughts. Kids with ADHD often describe their brains as constantly buzzing. It's like a radio stuck between stations. There's so many ideas, but they're jumbled and competing for attention. This can be exhausting, especially when they're trying to focus on something they don't find interesting. You see the problems here, yeah? And then there's the emotional side. ADHD amplifies emotions. A small disappointment can feel like the end of the world. You've probably experienced that with your kid. A sudden change in plans might trigger a meltdown, not because they're being dramatic, but because their brain struggles to regulate emotions. It's an emotional roller coaster, and they're holding on for dear life. And that's why I wanted to talk about that today. So what does it mean to have misunderstood behaviors? Now that we've explored what it feels like, let's tackle some of the behaviors that are often misunderstood. When a child with ADHD blurts out in class or interrupts a conversation, it's not because they're trying to be rude. It's because their brain struggles with impulse control. That thought feels so urgent. They feel like they have to say it right now. And often it's kind of like the object permanence that you might have heard of. They have to see everything around them to know that it's there. If they don't say it, they're going to forget it, right? So they need to also get it out. I know I definitely struggle from that, where I feel like I have to say things in order to remember them. Sometimes I've written things down as I've gotten older and smarter about how to manage my ADHD, but that need to say things so you don't forget is huge. Zoning out is another big one. People assume a child is paying attention, but often they're stuck in their own thoughts. Imagine trying to watch a movie, but every few minutes your brain pauses and it starts showing a different film. That's what it's like for these kids. I hope you are also like closing your eyes and really imagining these scenarios. I wish I could give these to you in real life, but for now, I just want you to truly imagine what it's like for your child. Really go there with the empathy. And then, of course, there's the fidgeting and hyperactivity. Movement helps ADHD brains focus. Sitting still feels unbearable, like holding your breath. Giving them a fidget tool or letting them stand while working can make a huge difference. Finally, let's talk about emotional outbursts. These aren't tantrums. They're signs that the child is overwhelmed. Their emotional regulation system works differently. So a small trigger can lead to a big reaction. Instead of punishing the behavior, we need to look for the underlying cause. So, as we talk about strengths, ADHD isn't all challenges. These kids have incredible strengths that often go unnoticed. For example, they're incredibly creative. Their brains naturally think outside the box, connecting ideas in ways others may not see. A child with ADHD might come up with the most innovative solution to a problem because they don't think in straight lines. Another strength is their passion. When they're interested in something, they can hyper-focus and deep dive. Whether it's dinosaurs or coding or drawing, they have the ability to become experts in their favorite topics. And let's not forget their resilience. These kids face challenges daily, but with the right support, they learn to adapt and overcome in ways that are truly inspiring. And that's really a lot of what I talked about in my recent workshop. And I'm going to do another one again on February 22nd to really help you find the strengths and the underlying causes so that you can help your child really shine. So look for more information soon about our February 22nd repeat of our strengths workshop. So what parents and teachers can do to help these amazing kids thrive? First, it starts with listening. Ask them what's going on in their head without judgment. Something as simple as, what's making it hard to focus right now, can open the door to a beautiful connection and understanding. Focus on their strengths. If your child loves drawing, let them doodle while they study. If they're passionate about space, use that interest to teach other subjects. Also, create ADHD-friendly routines, visual schedules. We've talked about these time and time again, right? Visual schedules, sometimes timers, and checklists sometimes can help kids stay organized and reduce overwhelm, especially the visual checklists, as we went through in our workshop. Break tasks into smaller steps and celebrate wins along the way. And they can be as simple as high fives or a happy dance or a fun photo. Adjust your expectations. ADHD kids aren't failing. They're learning differently. Instead of punishing mistakes, use them as opportunities to teach new skills. Let me say that again. Instead of punishing mistakes, use them as opportunities to teach new skills. Also, partner with coaches like me or educators, right? Share what works at home and advocate for accommodations at school, like extra time on tests or movement breaks. When parents and teachers, and even a coach if needed, work together, kids feel truly supported at home and in school. Both places they feel supported, and they will want to excel. Okay, I hope that little trip into the mind has been helpful. I hope you did truly close your eyes and imagine the scenarios that I talked about. As a creative activity, it would be fun to draw your child's brain and talk about maybe what's going on. What do you feel? What are you thinking about during the day? What are you thinking about at school? What does math make you think about? How about soccer practice? What are you thinking? Have that conversation with them and do your creative activity that way by getting into their brain and really being empathetic to what they're experiencing. But remember that ADHD is not a deficit. It's just a different way of thinking and experiencing the world. It's a way that we, those of us that are neurotypical, really need to celebrate. We need to celebrate those things. So these kids are not broken. I know it's hard. I know there's stress and worry and feels like chaos. But the kids aren't broken. They're amazingly brilliant in their own unique way. And so by understanding their perspective, by becoming empathetic, we can help them unlock their full potential. And as always, I truly thank you for tuning in today and stepping into your child's mind. If you found this helpful, please share it with a friend. Leave a review if you don't mind. I would truly appreciate it. Reach out with questions if you have them, or your own stories for that matter. I would love to hear them. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. Until next time, remember, ADHD isn't a challenge to fix, it's a gift to nurture. And as always, keep it quirky. See you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to Neuroquirky Nexus. We are so glad you took the time to join us today. I know time is precious, and we are so glad you're here. I hope you got a lot out of this episode. Please don't forget to post your activity using hashtag NeuroNexus. That's NeuroNexus. And of course, all links are in the show notes. And I just really hope you enjoyed it. So if you did, please like and subscribe and share this with a friend. I think this is really good for families that are new to their child being diagnosed with ADHD. And I believe that the tips and tricks and resources I'll be sharing will be very helpful for all families, but especially new families. And finally, I am creating a workshop coming up to help families with ADHD finding and using a holistic, natural approach in support of a book chapter that I'm writing and articles and magazines that are coming out. But my workshop, I'm so excited about because I can work with you all one-on-one. If you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you again. And remember, let's keep it quirky. See you next time.